In the last tutorial, we created some animations. So what we should have after animating is basically this. We have two balls going straight up and down, one that has a little bit of easing applied, one that has a little squash and stretch, and one that has an awesome shadow to give it a little bit more life. Now we're going to hook up our animations so that we can control them. The very first one is right here. And what we're going to be controlling is anim1. Now anim1 is currently on the main timeline. So we're going to go ahead and hook up the ball1 stop button and the ball1 play button so it stops the main timeline. Now just be aware everything else is on the main timeline as well, and we'll fix that. So let's go ahead and do the first coding. And in order to bring up our code window, we want to do F9 to bring up our actions. And then a really quick way of getting started with our actions, at least drawing or writing our first one, our code snippets, is to bring up the code snippets and use those to do our first one. And we're going to do an actions which says play and stop a movie clip. Now the first one is going to be stop a movie clip. So you double click on it and hopefully you'll see, oh, that's going to actually stop that one, and that's not actually what I want. So that's all right. Let's select it again. I want the code snippets, and I think what I want is timeline navigation. And we'll say click to go to and stop, and click to go to and play. So double click on the one for stop, and then we've got some code here that I'm going to get rid of the comments, and then we're going to change this up, but I'm going to talk about it first. The very first thing that we have is this .ball1 stop underscore btn add event listener click. This right here says to that button right here, and it's called ball1 stop button, we want to add this event listener. And the event listener is a click, and it's going to run a function that we've named right here. That's the function right there. So we're going to call this ball1 stop. Now that's pretty simple. I'm going to copy that function name and paste it into the second one below. Now it's called ball1 stop. And now this is also going to bind that function using JavaScript to the timeline. Now we've got the same function ball1 stop, which is going to be the same name as we have up here. And then instead of this go to and stop, we're going to just do this go to and stop and take out that 5. What this will do is stop the main timeline. Since all of our animations are currently on the main timeline, everything should be stopped. So here's how we test it out. Control Enter. If we hit pause right here, everything should currently stop. Now let's copy those, and right underneath it we're going to paste, and now we're going to change every place it says play, we're going to change it to play. Or every place it says stop, we're going to change it to play. So ball1 play, and then ball1 play. Now we also need to do here, and notice here that instead of it being uppercase, we do have to use the lowercase at this point instead of uppercase, camel case that we have here. So it used to be ball1 stop, and ball1 stop, and ball1 stop. Now it's ball1 play, ball1 play, and ball1 play, and then play right here. Let's see how it works. Stop and play. Stop and play. So everything's working great here. Now all we have to do is start organizing this so that we can do it for the other buttons. I'm going to organize it just a little bit by grouping some of my functions together. So this way I've put my two ball1 stop button event listeners together and the two functions together. Just makes it a little bit easier. Now I can copy the two of those, and I'll do it for ball2 stop, ball2, and that'll be ball2, 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 and ball2. Now you may think that this would do this dot stop. But what I really want to have happen is I want to move this object into its own movie clip so I can control that one separately. So in order to do that, I'm going to go back to my main window here, just put my actions off to the side, and you'll see that we have this whole animation that we need to move into a movie clip. In order to do this, I'm going to select all of that animation, so that's that entire layer. You can also just click on the name of the layer and it selects the entire layer. I'm going to right click, choose, where is that? Oh, I need not the stuff there. I need to do it down here that I selected. Whoops, I knew something was wrong. Right click, and you want to cut those frames. By cutting those frames, what I'm doing is getting rid of them so they're no longer on the main timeline. But now what I really need is another place to put these. So I'm going to create a real quick symbol just by creating a graphic, right-clicking, and choosing Convert to Symbol, and this will be anim1 underscore MC. Actually, I'll just do anim1. I'm going to go inside of that new symbol, and now I'm going to right-click and choose Paste Frames. So what it's done is it's pasted those frames back into this particular symbol. Now you'll notice that my positioning is not perfect because it means it saves it relative to where it was before. So we need to go into Edit Multiple Frames, select across a range of keyframes, select the object, and move it down to where we think it needs to go. Now I'd love to get all my stuff to be aligned perfectly, so I could get this to be aligned with that, then come back out and then place that where it needs to go. Now the problem is that I can't really tell where that object is, but at least since it's being centered on the other one, the same top is hidden there, when it goes down to the bottom, it should be at the same place. We just can't tell where it is unless we're at frame 15. And now you can see kind of faintly where it's going to hit. Now if I test this movie, I want you to notice what's happening with this movie clip. If I hit stop, like you remember, notice that that movie clip is going by itself. That's because it's in its own completely different timeline. And in order to stop that timeline, we need to, let's get off of our Edit Multiple Frames, we need to take this object that we've just created, give it an instance name, and call it anim2 underscore MC. What this does is gives us a way to target it using our action script. Now if we bring back our action script, or rather our JavaScript that we had before, we'll go back to that actions frame 1, and instead of targeting this, we're going to target this dot anim2 underscore MC dot stop. Now what we're doing is we're putting a target movie clip for it to stop. And that's why I like to use the underscore MC naming convention, because I know that this is going to be stopping a movie clip that's currently playing, whereas this underscore BTN, of course, is a button instead. So let's test it out, see if we got it working. Now I can pause that and play it. Pause that and play it. Now the process for doing the others is exactly the same. You want to select the layers that you want. So animation 3, I'd right click, I'd cut those frames, create a temporary movie clip, paste the frames back in, it will replace the content, and then go ahead and do that for the other ones. When we get to the one with the shadow, be aware that that has 2 layers that we are selecting instead of just 1. So you want to move all the animations into their own independent timelines and then code the rest of the buttons so you can stop and play that individual animation which is under it. Good luck. Have fun.